We're live! Hey, everyone. Thank you very much for listening or tuning in to Schmoedown Night in Canada. All right, this is our first live episode. I am so happy. We have grown so far from when we started, and now we are officially ready to be live to really celebrate this moment for, Schmoes or North fans and us. We got the Shuggiest of all nights, Mr. SugeKnight. How are you doing today?
Doing tonight. Thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it. Great to get to know some other faces in the Schmoedown other than my two co-hosts, Justin and Ferris and Bador. My three co-hosts now, it's Justin, Ferris, and Bador. So it's awesome to hang out with some other people. But thank you for having me on. It's an honor.
Hey, it's different perspectives is sometimes really refreshing. So we're happy to have you on, and maybe give you some opinions you might be shocked about. All right. So again, with me, it's Daniel and Soda from Schmoes of the North. How you doing, boys?
Hey,
you want to go first?
Doing great.
All right. So that being said, the way we're gonna work tonight is pretty easy. We're gonna start with Daniel. We're gonna talk about the undercard. Then we're gonna go for the main event, and then I just want to pick SugeKnight brain just to understand where he's at in the Schmoedown, his opinions, and yeah. So let's start this. All right, Soda. See you later, my friend.
Hey, wait, don't kick me out just yet. What the heck's going on?
Aw, bye.
That was your cue to cut me out.
I know, but isn't it better with
right.
awkward timing? All right. So,
It's the trademark of our show at this point. Awkward timing.
Yeah, awkward timing. All right. So, before we start, I have a question for you, Daniel.
Yeah.
Are you now convinced that Schmoeminati actually exists?
100%. I mean, I was convinced of it when they put Andrew Guy in a position to face Ben Bateman again, but now it's in full effect.
It's in full effect. And are you on the Schmoeminati bandwagon, Shug?
With someone that is in the Schmoedown in Bador. Don't let her hear me tell you that because you might not see me ever again. But she is part of the Schmoedown because we've caught her lying to us about things and caught her working behind the scenes. You'll probably see a dart right now hit my neck, and then I'm just gonna go off screen. But yeah, no, I don't believe in the Schmoedown. I believe that things just happen. That's just life.
And for me, I actually think this is a storyline. I think they're doing a bit something more subtle, but I think it's not just him rambling off. Christian's planning something somehow, and it's all gonna play out at the end of the year. But maybe that's just me, or maybe I'm just listening to Daniel a bit too much. Daniel,
Possibly.
Oh no, Daniel froze. Not now. This is not the time. All right.
Yeah, I just froze for a second. I'm back.
All right, this is to be expected with well, we invited Shug. That's who let this man on, Ferris. And by the way, hello to everyone watching. Thank you very much for joining. All right, so yeah, let's start it off. Wow, what a performance from Guy. At one point, my girlfriend was like, is he actually losing it? He was doing it so well. What do you think of does this character work, and could he work with it? I'll start with you, Shug.
Yeah, this was good character work. My opinion on the match was a little. I'll be honest with you. I was a little bored with the match. The gameplay was great. Bateman went perfect. Guy didn't play his best. That shows how good Bateman is. We don't know if the character work affected Guy, but Guy has amazing. He can work a character amazing like nobody else. A lot of people are saying, did the character work affect his gameplay? We don't know. The good thing this wasn't live. That's a good thing. It was pre-recorded. We don't really know the behind the scenes stuff. So to me, you got to take it as if really Bateman was really good. Guy just didn't play to his potential or to the level he needed to play to be Bateman. So I think when we talk about the other match, the way this played out, as far as the result was actually better for the schmoedown. But when you look at this just in a single, single mindset, it looked bad. It just made either Bateman, but Bateman looks good as far as playing the game, but
Yeah.
in character work, he didn't do a lot of character work. Guy looks great in character work, but he looked bad in gameplay. So it's a weird situation we've never seen. We've never really seen this. My boys, that's right, my boys. Sorry, that's the saying we do. But yeah, this is a really weird situation for the schmoedown. But I believe you're right, Frenchie. I believe that this is part of a storyline. I don't think Guy threw the match, but I think there's going to be something coming out of this that we just don't know yet.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if Guy threw the match. The first thing my girlfriend said is it me or he's trying to lose on purpose? At the same time, if that's the case, it's such the wrong moment because you want to attract the most viewers possible, right? So you have Chris Jericho, you have Kevin Smith. It's not time to giving us a weird-ass boring match in a sense and having it thrown if you want to impress and gain more viewers. So if this was any other, timeline in the season, I'd be okay. But since this is like an attract your audience match, if it was on purpose, it was a wrong call, personally.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I see
go ahead,
what you're saying there, but I do think there's something to showcase there anyway. You get to see the character on display and the gameplay on display right next to it. And then, especially with the later match being so close, like you get to see the intensity, and so you got the entire array of what the schmoedown is in this one double feature. You have high character, high gameplay, and a very close barn burner match. Like it was a classic.
But again, there's something personally I found it was lacking, right? It was a good match, but I don't know. I was expecting fireworks. The character, he played it well, but I was just very confusing. What is the purpose of this, right? If it pans out later on in the season and then we're like, then okay, cool. But if it does, sometimes I can certain past storylines that things don't just get wrapped up. They kind of get like fizzled out in the air. I hope this is not the case. If it's actually planned, there's got to be a payoff. If not, we're going to go back a year before and be like, but why was this there, So I just hope it pays off if it is.
Yeah, for sure. I hope it does pay off too. I have to, Daniel, I kind of agree with you, but the one thing I disagree on was you had at that time, if you were watching the stream, there was almost 4,000 people watching. A lot of people in that stream started asking, is this fake? Is it set up? Christian does not want that because Christian wants to make sure that this is legitimately a sport. Therefore, everything is legitimate. And when you have new people coming in asking that question, it undermines what Christian's trying to build. So I think he might be a little frustrated with that. But like I said, with the second match, it was almost a blessing in disguise because the second match, even though it wasn't any seasoned competitors playing, it was two competitors that were new but made it very exciting and more people were invested. There was more people excited about that second and third round than I've seen in a long time. Like I was in a voice chat with people where we were going crazy when certain things happened in that match. So the first match had to be something a little bit better, and like Frenchie said, it needed to have more for fireworks. But I think that would have been a detriment to the next match because that could have taken away. So the fact that this match was bad as it was, it actually hyped the next match. So
let's just hope that people stick through for the second match. But I agree, especially it was a match that it was such big question marks. No one knew what the hell was going to happen. They're so like, is it going to be just horrendous but fun to watch because it's it's them, or is it going to be surprising? And the fact that it was surprising and no one had real expectations, who would have thought Jericho? I know we're not going to talk about that. We're going to go back, Rylan, because that's Soda's part. Sorry, Soda. I love you. Don't hate me. And you're just, oh yeah, yourself. All right. I'm just curious. People are watching today. If you have any questions, anything you want to, have your opinion on from us from the first match, let us know. I'll pop it in and we'll talk about it. Okay. Now, if not, Bateman, where is he at now? Like, yeah, it was kind of an easy victory. It is what it is. What do you think is in Bateman's head? Like, what is he after?
I mean, he's after that title. The way he lost to Dan is very frustrating because he played his way. He played a really good game. Anybody else, he beats him. But he played the game in a 5-round the way you should play it. And he was so good, but yet he still lost. And so that's got to eat at him. Now, not only that, then he got beat by Shazam really bad. And so, he's in a weird spot right now, but I think this helped him a little bit, but we'll see when he plays Dan where he's at.
And what have you done?
What I worry about is where he falters against Dan. He plays a perfect game up until including that speed round where he just destroys Dan. And then we have seen that Dan is a lot better in this new speed round, and we haven't seen Bateman go up against it in the virtual format. And he lost in the final round, and he didn't get to play that this time around. He hasn't had a lot of practice. He was KO'd in a teams match. I think he's played one final round since that title match, and that's where he falters in those nuances and the plot-specific questions. He's the first to acknowledge that.
And question for you guys then, both of you. Are we going to see a new champion this year, aka Ben Bateman, or is it going to stay in the Dan's hands, you think?
It depends. I'm going to tell you right now, the best thing for Ben to do right now, to be honest with you, is to go heel. Being a face is not working for him. He has to play as a heel.
Could he still be a heel with Riley, or would he have to be a heel if he split it up and
I think Riley and Ben Bateman are split it up.
Yeah,
I think they're done for the year. I don't believe they're going to be in the teams tournament. That's Founding Fathers all the way. Because if you don't put Founding Fathers in that tournament, Dagnito is going to have a. Can we cuss on this? I don't know. If we can.
Yeah, like go ahead.
He's going to have a shit
storm.
If he puts Founding Fathers. I mean, if he puts Who's the Boss in that tournament and not Founding Fathers. I think to help Bateman, he has to go heel. I think he has to try to get into Dan's head as best he can, even over virtual, which is hard, but that's the way he's going to win. And so I think that he tries to be, and he does a little heel hit tendencies, which gets him into it with Bibbs and people, but he has to do something to shake it up because heels being a face is not working for him, and he can't go into that match with no kind of edge because he's not going to beat Dan, because we saw what happened in Atlanta.
But at the same time, to rattle Dan Murrell, you need to really, really be particular because Dan is rarely rattled, right? In your opinion, Daniel, what do you think he has to do really to rattle the shit out of Murrell to be able to have the win?
I think he has to kind of take a page out of that Andrew Guy book, and really the problem is he can't piss him off like he did in Atlanta, because if you piss him off, he won't miss a question going forward. And he's so well versed in both the knowledge and the game that it's hard to you can't study against him. You can't put his weaknesses on the wheel. There is nothing aside from any mental head games that can win you a match against Dan Murrell at this point. And there's plenty of match. There's 5 rounds, and he can build a lead. There are going to be questions Dan doesn't know, but Dan doesn't get nervous from playing from behind either. So
yes, it's such a tricky thing.
It's such. I believe Ben can beat Dan Murrell, but I also don't think he will. I
Now,
think we're gonna end up with Dan retaining again.
Yeah, about it, I'm not sure, but I'm curious. The people who are watching right now the episode, write in Dan or Ben Bateman round 2, like the second matchup. Who do you think is gonna win? I'm curious. We're gonna tally up after, but send those comments. And I'm still between Soda. I wanna hear your comment too. All right, so where does Guy go from here?
I think Guy has to focus on teams. He's been great at teams. He hasn't been so good at singles, but was he great at teams because of who he played with Drew McQueen? So these are questions you have to ask, and you have a right to ask. I think kind of going back to the Ben Bateman and getting to Dan, what Guy did so great, but at the time Dan didn't understand the league, so that's why I threw him off guard. Was how Guy was able to play against him and get in his head, get the head in the head, do the head games. So for Dan, now understands it, and we just saw when they lost the belt how pissed off Dan was, and like you said, a pissed off Dan Murrow, like Daniel said, a pissed off Dan Murrow is a dangerous Dan Murrow, and he looked pissed. So now he's gonna defend this belt, and he's gonna go back for the title. So going back to Guy, you got to figure out what it's good at. He's good at teams, so you got to give him a partner, either an Ethan Irwin or Janina Machine, and get him into this teams tournament and let him, because he's good in teams. He really is. If you go by record, and I know people might say, oh, well, he's carried by Drew McQueen, but at the same time, Guy has shown up in those matches. Guy showed up when he was with the action guys, you know, so he can't, teams is his strong point. So he's got to focus on teams. And next year, hopefully COVID's gone. I do know that Guy does not like playing this virtual format. It just doesn't suit him because it's hard for him to get in people's heads. So once we get back in the studio, it's a different guy that's playing. You're playing here. It's not. It's easy to kind of quiet somebody out, but when you're right next to him in the studio, it's very hard. And Guy can get in your head that time. You saw it with Dan Murrow, even though that was a while ago. Even when the family made it to the finals, Guy can get in your head. So studio matches are important because he does not like the virtual format. So I think that's where Guy goes from here. He has to focus on teams. And next year, wherever he lands up, I think he's going to end up with a different manager. There might be a possibility of him ending back up with Bateman and reforming the action guys. It kind of looks that way, and I wouldn't be surprised. And actually, that would be really good because Bateman, how strong he is, and with Guy being that B player, not having to be an A player, all he has to do is be a B player.
Yeah. The thing is, like, where do you find that? Like, the trades are like no longer happening. You got to work with what you have. And
well, I mean, he has Irwin. He has Ethan Irwin.
Yeah.
So they can put him in the team's tournament with Ethan Irwin. It's either you're putting Time Machine back together or Ethan Irwin Guy. It's one of those two options. So he still has the team season, but he has to win in order, so.
All right. And what about you, Daniel?
I mean,
maybe 1 minute.
It's tough. He obviously, like, he has admitted he's not much of a singles player. It's not the league that he enjoys. He wants to play the teams division, and so if he enters this teams tournament with Ethan Irwin and actually gets to enjoy the game again, especially like after his last teams match, going into it just after learning McWeeny would be done if they lose is a tough sell, and he is still one of the greatest performers. So as a teammate on any team, he will be a draw for the show, and we really want him to succeed.
Yeah. I don't know how. Okay, I won't say he's done, but you know. By the way, people, if you don't know, apparently I say he's done at every episode, but someone different. I'm the negative pessimist one of all four of us. All right, so look, that case, we're gonna drop you, my man. We're gonna put in Soda. We're gonna talk about second match. We'll see you in a couple minutes. All right.
See you later.
You back?
Hey, so is it safe to say that Dan's done there, Lou?
Yeah, he's done. He's finished.
Hot take.
Yeah, you do say that a lot, don't you?
See, we got our keywords, and we all have our characters to play, right? I'm the pessimistic asshole that says Outlaw's done, and he proves me wrong. So yeah, what can I say? But I love you, Outlaw, and no, I'm not a moron. All right. He called her producer moron once. That made our basically year. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, he's called me worse.
Oh, really?
Okay. He showed up on our show, cussing us out.
Oh, nice.
Don't worry, you're good.
We were having a blast. Like, he was cussing us. We're like, oh my god, the Outlaw's cussing us.
Yeah. Well, not me. I didn't get cussed out.
Okay.
Nice
Yeah.
one.
Sort of, but our producer had a lot of fun being cussed at. So, all right.
Still brings it up every once in a while.
So, main event. Holy shit!
Yes.
Is our if I can name this match is holy shit. First of all, Shug, who do you like in your head? You haven't seen the match yet. You're right about to watch it. Who you're having as your pick to win?
Oh, you absolutely good. Kevin Smith. He's a director. If you know nothing about Chris Jericho, Kevin Smith, you automatically go Kevin Smith. It's like not even a question.
And you, Soda?
Yeah, same with Kevin Smith. I if it was wrestling knowledge, yeah, Jericho hands down. But no, going into it blind, yeah, I would agree with Chug. It would have been Kevin Smith.
And I think Carlos sold me, or Roxy sold me. I was kind of inclining for Jericho. For me, something about a man that excels at everything that he does, he could be considered a savant. I don't know Jericho that well. He could have been a savant without really knowing it, and he picks up something and he studies at it, and he kind of Smith beat him. Like you said, he's a movie director, right? But he didn't beat him knockout. He had to go to the distance ×5, right? Mm-hmm. So it was very close, and that's why I'm impressed with Jericho. I'm happy Smith won. I really hope Jericho comes back because he is entertaining, such a presence, and knows movies. He has to come back.
For sure. And that, Chris Jericho, that's what, like you said earlier, he's good at everything he does. The guy knows how to change. He's like a chameleon. He knows how to change himself up all the time. Like, watching him as a wrestling fan, everybody knew him as Y2J, the big party guy, the Ayatollah Rock and Rolla. And then he came back and he became this silent assassin a la Javier Bardem from No Country for Old Men. And then he comes back again. He's got the shiny jacket. And he's playing the crowd. Like, the dude knows how to work, and it definitely came across in this match. I was thoroughly happy. I was thoroughly impressed, especially when he renamed the GTU rule Jericho Totally Excellent.
Oh man. and to think Christian actually did a poll to see if it's time to change it, and it's last time I checked, the yes please change it is actually winning. So how is JT gonna digest it? Who cares? It's Chris Jericho.
Exactly.
All right. And okay, so the match starts a bit slow at the beginning. What were your impressions? Do you think it's going to be the way it turned out? Or do you think it's it's going to be an okay match with another okay match before? Shug.
Well, I mean, when opening up, Kevin actually was impressing me. It seemed a little rough for Jericho, but Kevin was impressing me. He was answering. He knew a lot of good answers. Questions seemed legitimate. People were in the chat oh, these questions are easy. That second question to answer was very hard. I for sure didn't know it. So I get what you're saying. It started off a little slow, but Kevin Smith seemed to be understanding of the schmoedown, and he seemed real knowledgeable, whereas Jericho seemed a little bit out of his element. But then we see in round 2 and round 3, he totally wasn't out of his element. So yeah, Ferris and John Roca. Yeah, that's a thing.
But yeah, there was some adapting to do, but you can see that he takes control of things very, very fast and very easily. And okay, now Kevin Smith, as much as I like what he does, he wouldn't be complete without Koi Janju. I find they are a perfect match. Do you agree, Shug?
As far as managing, yeah, I thought Corey did a great job. But I think I could see Kevin Smith with any kind of manager. I'd love to see him with Kate. That'd be hilarious.
Oh God!
Could you imagine him with Magneto?
God.
Could you imagine him with Shannon? Could you see Kevin Smith as a heel with Shannon? It'd be hilarious.
No.
It would be
hilarious.
I could see that one more like what they were trying to do with Dewberry at the beginning of the year. Like the heel manager, the face. But Shannon's probably the one outlier where I'd have a hard time seeing that one.
Yeah, Shannon and Ken. As much as I love Ken Sal do something that I don't drive. Swag and Quirky Mercs for me
and
would
Suspects.
Be
Suspects would be good too.
Oh man, with the humor of Sam and the just
which
awesomeness.
We almost had.
Yeah, Kevin Smith talked about it.
Yeah,
that was interesting. That was behind the curtain.
Yeah,
it was very interesting.
Yeah, I was wondering if Harloff kind of cringed and a vein popped when he said that because any other competitor would be like, yeah, what the fuck are you doing? You're not supposed to say that shit,
Yeah,
but
that's what he's known for running his mouth with at inappropriate moments. That's how him and Ben Affleck didn't talk for years.
Yeah, well, when there's no filter, and I get him, I have no filter, and it gets me into shit.
It's the weed.
Yeah, God knows I smoke it. All right, so let's say Kevin Smith has the time to play, right? We'll go back to the match, but I'm curious. Who would you want to pair up? Who's your fantasy? Like, you can only get Kevin Smith, once a year in a match. Next year, Shug, who do you match him? Let's say not celebrity, just schmoedown.
Is he only getting one match for the year, or is he going to play if he's playing if he wins?
I don't know, but I'm doing an intellectual game. Let's say it's only once a year. Next year, who do you want to see?
Well, then you're going to want to see the most entertaining kind of match. So you're going to want to see him against maybe someone like Video Drew, Tom, Rachel Silvestrini, being a fan. You would want to see him against
Barbarian.
Maybe Barbarian.
Ooh.
I know Goddard just tweeted out, calling him out, saying they're both 1-1 in singles. Why don't they play each other? I mean, that would be interesting. But if you're talking purely entertainment, I think you have to go John Roca.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I think you have to go John Roca. If it's entertainment. If it's once a year, I want John Roca. John Roca versus Kevin Smith would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love if they do a Kevin Smith, exhibition. You put Silvestrini and Kevin Smith to see if Silvestrini can beat Kevin Smith at his own movies. That would be awesome.
That would be funny.
But no, for me, entertaining this of the content, but also like the trivia knowledge, I would actually want to put Kevin Smith with Duralde personally.
Andre Duralde. Okay, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, because
it should be fun.
I don't know. It doesn't work in my brain. For me, Bibbs and Smith wouldn't. It I don't know. It doesn't pop. What the hell do I know? I just comment on shit, right? But it just doesn't work.
Isn't that all we do? That's
yeah.
All right. I mean, apparently by Brandon Hanna, we're just fan run podcast. So shout out to that weirdo.
Yeah. And guess who?
Brandon Hanna can't win a match or manage. So.
Oh, shots fired, baby.
Says the guy's only competed in one match. For my entertainment, this is for me entertaining purposes only, not for skill, whatever. I would love to see Kevin Smith versus Brett Sheridan, just for the entertainment value.
Oh, good lord!
The interactions with Kevin Smith and Kate would be amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Brett Sheridan interactions with Kevin Smith would be amazing. I could see absolutely that'd be entertaining. Probably be. Actually, but you can't even say that's a low-scoring game because Kevin Smith actually did really good.
Yeah,
he really did good in the match.
Yeah. just also for entertainment value, him and Bonnie Smith or Bonnie, sorry,
Somerville.
Bonnie,
Yeah,
yeah.
that would be entertaining. That would be fun. I wouldn't mind saying that.
How about Smith versus Makuga?
Oh God, talking about Makuga, Dave is in his wild berries. For those who are new to this show or his first time,
that's. Oh, that is our Dave. He just can't spell his damn name.
Yeah, no, and you need your glasses, my friend. But yeah, for those who don't know, I annoy the shit with wild berries with Dave. He loves them. I keep saying squash berries because they're never coming back, and I don't care what anyone says. Ha!
And it's usually at this point that Dave kicks Lou out of the stream.
But he can't.
But yeah,
They can't. Were any of you guys at the draft?
No.
Oh,
No, I was there. I was at the
really?
draft. I skipped work to go. And I was there when they broke up the wild berries. And let me tell you, that room, where I was at was in the. I could see Shannon here, and right behind her, you could see Mike Kalinowski. So when she drafts Dewberry, all you do see, and it doesn't show it on camera, Mike gets up and is just flipping the whole crowd off. It was the biggest deal move. I mean, the guy next to me called her the B word. He was pissed, and I'm like, "Do you guys understand? This is amazing." And yeah, it was pretty funny.
That's crazy. That's funny.
But let's say you can reverse time? Would you want to put back the wild berries together if you can save them and put them this year?
No, this league has evolved. This league has evolved. It's no longer. I have asked people. This league from last year to now is now evolved. Don't get me wrong. Makuga's, obviously John Roca's proved that he can play in this league still. Dan Murrow, Mark Riley, some of the old guard, but it's a different league. It's not that league anymore. You still have fun, but people are taking it seriously. The Ben Batemans that studied, the Kevin Smiths, the Sean Drews, Mike Kalinowski, the Chances. Chance might have an opportunity to be a 3-belt this year. People take it seriously now. It's no longer just a game show. It's a sport.
And their style is being evolved because it's something I've talked with the kid recently in the latest. And we're not wrong, Dave. You're wrong. The latest Norton consultations. I kind of came to the conclusion there's book smarts and street smarts. You got your book smarts like a Duralde, like Bibiani, right? That knows the game, but pulls their knowledge out of experience and what they see in the movies. And then you got your street smarts, which is the people who came from the fan leagues or the other leagues, as we should say now, and the ones that learned it by studying a lot. So you're starting to see these different types of ways of playing, and you got wheel strategists, you got challenge oriented players. So it's evolving so much and so fast right now that I kind of feel bad for the old school because they have to adapt or die, and I think the only one that can do that is Dan.
Well,
I think Roca can too.
Yeah, I'm with
Roca's proven he can. Irwin is not from the old guard, but Irwin's not studying the way that Ben Bateman is or the way Kevin Smith is. Justin Hamilton, I don't know who that guy is. You can ignore him. It's okay.
Just for that, Shug, I'm going to leave it on for 30 seconds more. Just to prove Justin right.
It's your show. You can do whatever you want. If it was me, I'd have threw him out already.
Yeah. And okay, going back to the last matches. The last match, the main card. We're at overtime. Okay. Now you see both Kevin Smith and Jericho. Yes, Kevin Smith's the director. Yes, he does have a slight advantage. But sudden death, who you're thinking is going to win at that point?
I mean, it favored Kevin Smith, but I wouldn't have been surprised if Jericho had gotten it because Kevin Smith tends, I don't know if he zones out, but I think his brain might have been carrying, losing.
I said the same answer as he did. That's the worst part.
Yeah, momentum definitely favored Jericho going into that because he was down up until the final round and he got back and tied and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it really, you guys are right. It could have gone either way, really.
Yeah, and Jericho, it was the most exciting moment for Kevin Smith to pick Kevin Smith and then but Kevin Smith didn't get a steal because Jericho knew most of the stuff. So that was very fun. And then the third round, the 5-pointers were a little bit hard. You know, the 3-point. So it made it interesting. And then now you go into overtime where they don't give you a category. You don't know what Kevin Smith's really weak in. You don't know, and so you can miss any time. So Jericho, he just misunderstood the movie because I think he was thinking of
Dark Knight.
No, not Dark. No. The one with where Robin first appears.
Forever. Yeah.
Forever. He was thinking Forever when it was Batman Return. So he got confused there. And also too, it could have been. You're right. It could have been Dark Knight because that's more recent, and everybody tries to forget those. Older the last 3 Batman movies.
Because you see more Harvey Dent do the whole like government stuff and stuff. So I get to see that. I do want to call out Jericho on one little thing, and I want to take back his Canadian card.
Okay. No. Before you say it, we are sorry. If ever you're on a show one day, we are very sorry for what he's about to say. Go ahead.
No, he said he chose number 9 for Guy Lafleur. Guy Lafleur never wore number 9. It was number 10.
You're picking a fight with Jericho. Okay, it's your end, bro.
Like Cody said, it's quarantine. I'm sitting behind the computer, so bring it on.
Yeah, we gotta talk about.
Jericho kicked my ass.
With one finger. Yeah. But let's talk about Roxy here, like because we mentioned last episode that she was starting to get on my nerves. I like her a lot, but there's something extreme about her. Like there's a notch that like flipped since her ways against corruption. And it kind of stuck out again. For you, is Roxy working as a personality, or is she changing in a direction you don't like right now, Shug?
We've had this conversation, especially my co-host Bador really has an issue with this, and I'll try not to speak that much longer because I want to hear what you guys have to say. But, and I know a lot of people say, well, heels, if they get on your nerves, this, and that, they're doing their job. To me, Roxy's just. And this is not Roxy the person. I think this goes back to things as being fans. We're not ever attacking somebody as a person. I'm talking about a character. I say this all the time.
Agreed.
I hate Roxy as a manager. Roxy the person is a great person. Her manager, I can't stand that character because she just gets on my nerves. But that's what she's supposed to do. But what her character has become now is a little bit of an annoyance and become real lazy. As a heel, and that's where I have an issue, and a lot of people that I've talked to, they have an issue. But then you'll hear the other side and say, well, if that's what she's doing, then she's doing her job, which could be right. She could be doing her job correctly, but I think the work is a little lazy. So
I'm with you there. Personally, I think when she goes against corruption, she just needles that Kalinowski thing a little too much. That's what bothered me the last match, because I was on her side up until the last match, and it's just like, okay, you need to lay off. Like, we get it, but enough's enough.
And for me personally, it's again, it's same thing for wrestling, right? The fans like, the characters they see they don't like, there's things about, there's tweaking, and they give their opinion. And for me, it's the same thing we're doing right now. I used to like Roxy, what she did before, but right now, when there's a difference between annoying my nerves, but I can't wait to hate you again next week. Like the guys, the Action Army back in the day, they were so cringe, but at the same time, like, oh man, I actually love watching them. Roxy was like, and that's not a feeling that wants me to go back next week because it's too hyped up,
Yeah, for sure. And what you're talking about with the Action Army, what you talk about the Action guys, you talk about Roka, some of the great heels, you talk about right now Chandru, you talk about Mike Kalinowski is you don't like them, but you'll tune in next week to see them lose. I actually don't care to tune in and watch Roxy. I don't really care.
Which sucks because she's awesome. And
like I said, she's awesome as a person. Yeah. As Roxy as a person on SCN and everything she's done, she's an awesome person. I'm just talking about her character.
Sexy numbers, like, well, what does that mean?
And there's people that have a problem. But then again, that might work as a stick and it might catch on. There's sometimes, things catch on. It takes a minute to catch on, and then once they catch on, then we get it. Then we're fine with it. I don't have the problem with the sexy numbers thing. I just think some of her trash talking. I won't. I'm not trying to plug my show or anything, but we talked to Ken Nebsock.
No, plug away.
And Cam Knoxak talked about heel work, where you just don't go after an opponent. You want to build. If you build them up, when you lose to them, you still look good, but they also look good. And what she's doing is she's trying to tear them down. So when she calls Dre Pirano a charity case, she's not doing her a player any disservice, because if he beats him, well, now you beat a charity case, but you lost to him, so now you've lost to a charity case. So where does that leave your guy now? Doesn't make him look good. So the one thing Ken Knopsack says is as a heel, you got to build them up. So if you do lose, now they still look strong, but it also still makes you look good. But you can still jab at them, but not tear them down. But if you win and you built them up, now that elevates you as a player, and now that this guy was good, but he beat him. So man, that must mean he's good. So you gotta take it. I think we've talked about it. Ken Knapsack needs to do heel work 101 for a lot of these people.
Oh fuck yeah.
Okay, and before we get into that, might as well get on the third part of the show, because you've been since the get-go. You are the first super fan personally to get recognition, the whole SCN.
No! I wasn't the first.
No, you're the first. You're the most recent.
Maybe the first for me. You're the one who it stood out. And then when I found you on Facebook, and I actually wrote to you in the comments like, "Oh my God, it's you!"
Oh yeah. Yeah, I actually now remember. That's pretty funny. Yeah.
For me, in my head, you were a fan celebrity. Okay, so let's jump into the third part. Let's bring on my man. If you can unmute yourself, Mr. Daniel.
I'm back.
I just want to bring up what Suge was talking about, because yes, 100% Ken should definitely do heel work 101, and you're right. I'm an old school wrestling fan from back in the day, and that was the beauty thing about what made Bobby Heenan's stable and Jimmy Hart's stable credible. They lost a lot, but they were really good at making you think that their heels were unbeatable and that they were still the best of the crop. And Roxy's trying to do that, but something's missing. That's what it is. She needs to find that something to make them more credible. Because right now it's not quite working.
Not quite, but again, there's some adjustments, and thank God we have a whole plethora of other managers that hate and love. How we're gonna work for this segment, we're all gonna ask a question each, and we'll rotate until we hit around 20 minutes. So my first question to you, Mr. Knight, I said it, is, who is your top three? I don't care about performance, like standing wise, etc. Who are your top three favorite managers?
Oh, well. Okay, so it's kind of changed now because of recency bias.
Okay.
My number one's going to be Kate. It will always be Kate. Okay, right. So I don't care. People call me Den Shill, call me a Kate Shill. I love Kate. So that doesn't bother me. My second now, personally, because I found out what kind of person he is Winston Marshall. I don't know if you guys know this, but my mom had a stroke a couple weeks ago. She's been in the hospital. Winston had messaged me on Twitter and was like, "Hey man, I just want to do something special for you and drop off some dinner for you and your kids." He drove to my house, about a 45-minute drive, and dropped off dinner. He didn't have to do that. I don't know. I've met him twice in my life at Draft and Spectacular. Doesn't know me other than, like you guys say in the comments and everything. He didn't have to do that. So my that one is more personal than it is actual, character and everything like that. That is now personally one of my favorite managers, because he's just a great person, and I love. I
saw you comment on that on Twitter. That's pretty cool of him. Very cool.
It was really awesome.
Amazing. Yeah.
My third is Shannon Barney. That woman is amazing. If it wasn't for Kate, she'd probably be number one, because she is a great heel. She's just, but when you get to talk to her, you realize it is her, like you could say rookie season, not really rookie season as a manager. She's just amazing. She cares about her players. she said it's the same one I was just telling you guys right now when I said I never wanted to host a podcast. She never wanted to be a manager, and she told us that. But she's doing it, and she's going to do it the best of her abilities. And so I like that. I appreciate that. And she's one of the best managers out there. And I love all the managers, but those are my top.
And okay, let's go to you, Dan. What's your question for Mr. Shug?
Yeah, I mean it's very similar. I was gonna ask like which of the divisions is the one that really spoke to you, that drew you in, because there is such a slight difference between all four of them. Which one was it that brought you to the game?
Single, the division that brought me in, but the division I actually stay for is not the most popular one. It's Star Wars. This year, Star Wars tournament legitimately made me love the schmoedown. I liked it. I geeked him. I always thought I was a movie buff, and I'm not now after watching the schmoedown.
Yeah.
But that Star Wars tournament, the emotion I cared for Ace Cabrera, for Ken Knapsack, for Andrew DeMolanta, for Laura Kelly, Molly Damon. You know, people talked about, oh, that's Alec Damon's wife. No, she proved that she's Molly Damon, a Star Wars competitor. You know how I felt about Sean Sullivan. The guy's amazing. That tournament made me love that division, and I can't wait to get more people in that division and make it bigger, because I think a lot of people say we wouldn't have that division if Christian didn't love Star Wars, but I think now we're gonna have more people in that division. I think next year we might get a 16-man tournament for Star Wars, or 16-person tournament for Star Wars. I really do believe
that would be
so.
awesome.
My condolences to the writers.
They're gonna add stuff. They are gonna. It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be the Star Wars division, and it's gonna be all Star Wars questions, and it's not just gonna be movies. So they might add Clone Wars. They might add Mandalorian, which makes sense because there's not that much movies, but it's a good division. So
yeah,
but
for sure.
But didn't Harloff say at one point that's never gonna happen? Well, we all know.
I asked him. That was one of the questions I said, and he said at first no, because they're TV, but now they're kind of looking at it like, we don't want this division to dry up. They are going to be able to recycle questions, but if you want this division to grow, we know we're not going to get movies for another 3 years. And I'm not a Star Wars fan. I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm just not a big Star Wars fan. I think the best move is to add Clone Wars, Mandalorian, and see, the baby agrees with me. Mandalorian, Clone Wars, and Rebels. I think you need to add those, and I think the competitors would be okay with it. I think they'd be fine with it.
All right, and Soda, go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, so what is the dream match that we'll never get that you would like to see?
Alex Damon versus Sam Whitworth.
Yeah, you don't think we'll ever see that, eh? You don't think Whitworth's ever coming back?
Sam Whitworth's too busy. Chris has said it multiple times. Sam Whitworth's too busy. I think maybe in 2 years Whitworth would be able to come back, but he has so much work going on. I don't think he's going to be able to come back. And we're going to see how strong this division gets to where Damon going to hold on to the belt.
Okay, in that case, my question is, let's say again, fantasy, hypothetical, we're never going to see it, but let's say Ace Cabrera beats Damon, Ace versus Whitworth. Now the game has evolved. Who do you think?
Ace. Let me tell you something. I talked to Ace. I interviewed. He was our first interview ever.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
When he joined the Star Wars thing, we interviewed him again and we talked about it. He says, I know so many deep cuts that people don't know, and you're going to see it on full display. They just haven't asked me those questions yet.
Wow.
One of those questions, I guarantee you, was that parking ticket. And that was the way he straight up said that answer and then pushed back from his camera and just knew he won was amazing. I think Ace has a legitimate chance to beat Alex, and I think Alex knows it. I think I think he does know that he has a legitimate chance to beat him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Does Dan, do you have a question, Soda?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, adding on to that, I think it kind of pushes Alex Damon to, like, he even says, like, it's it gives him more things to study. It gives him somebody who will push him to go back and find even more things in those movies that he doesn't know yet. But okay, my question is, what slice would you add to a singles or the inner geekdom division that like we haven't seen yet? We've seen them add a ton of new things, but it's always interesting to see what would be your specialty slice.
Well, I'm gonna shout out my homie here, Ferris Mutana. I think for the IG tournament to make it a little more exciting, I think you add Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, at this point, it's a superhero franchise.
I want,
and that's a shout out. That's a shout out to my boy Ferris Mutana. If he's out there listening, which I hope he is. That would be
I've seen him in the chat.
He's probably lurking. They're lurking somewhere.
Yeah,
if you're alive, right?
Musical to the IG.
No, that's actually a good suggestion because, like I said, by this point, it practically is superhero. But you've got nine movies at this point to choose from. There's a whole bunch of breadth there.
Yeah, you can add it to the. I think you add it to Inner Geekdom, and it really will help that division get. We'll have more categories and everything, and people would start saying, "Oh, well, they only got to watch 300 movies." Like you can add a couple more things. Maybe Fast and the Furious. You can look at some other franchises to add there.
All right.
As bad as they are, Transformers.
No, please.
I was saying, as bad as they are, the Transformers.
I'm surprised
movies,
that one hasn't been on there yet because you've got the main movies and you've got the animated movie and stuff. I'm surprised that hasn't been on there yet.
I was going to say something, but the outlaw's going to kill me, and I want interviews, so never mind.
I don't know if you guys can get an interview after having me on here with the outlaw, but.
I do want to say something about the Transformers in that I want to fight Michael Bay so that he's not allowed to make more of them. That's all I'll say about the Transformers movies.
Bumblebee was amazing, and he only
but Hot Rod should have been in the movies. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Now we're getting sweaty here.
We're done nerd venting. All right. Okay. So look, Soda, do you have a last question?
Just out of all the competitors that we've seen, is there one that hasn't quite lived up to the hype for you?
You want to get me in trouble?
Not really.
Are you trying to get me in trouble here?
Yeah.
God, if I say that, I'm probably going to.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Is there not to do with the hype or whatever? Is there somebody that has showed up in the league that is no longer there that you think could have gone far?
No, I think I gotta remember I'm new to the schmoedown actually.
Oh, no, actually, really? How new are you?
I've been only watching the last year. I barely came in this last season, halfway through the season.
Shit.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I only came in through halfway the season, and then which. I know you guys got it. You guys are on time limit. Real quick, before I answer your question, I do want to say this. I became a new fan, and the shows that I watched to learn about the schmoedown were C2A, Take 3 Productions, and your guys' show. That's how I learned about the schmoedown.
Oh, ours. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
You guys. That's how I was watching you. I would watch your guys' show, rewatch them, to learn about the schmoedown because I did not. Say it.
Hey,
Brandon wants to get me in trouble. That's how I learned. That's how I learned about the schmoedown. To learn quickly enough because I didn't understand it. I understood the wrestling part because I'm a big wrestling fan. I understood the trivia part. But getting it together and understanding it, I had to learn, and I learned from the old school podcast, the ones that because now so many of us have popped up with these new podcasts. So I learned from, and I will always shout out all you guys because you guys made the community where it is today. So I wanted to shout you guys out for that. My person that didn't live up to the hype, and I hate to say it, is Robert Parker. And he's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Lou is a massive Robert Parker stan.
I talked to him, but the one thing I consistently saw from people was this whole idea that the fan leagues were equivalent to the schmoedown. which they can be eventually. You can get awesome players. We see that in Paul Oyama. We see that in Chance. We see that in Parker. There's good players that Kevin Smets. There's good players that come from the families. But when you get to this level, sometimes it is a little different. And we kind of saw that with how Chance played Parker. And how Parker just kind of changed because of how strong he was. And even in the Goddard match, Goddard gave him a fight. If Goddard, we talked about this last night with Goddard. If Goddard got the same questions that he had just, like in a similar case that he saw with Star Wars the week before in the IG match, Goddard would have answered most of those questions. I think a lot of people that fault Goddard for not spinning, I think is wrong, because Goddard said, I was very comfortable and I thought I could do it. It just so happens he got 2 Rogue One questions. If you know anything about Goddard, he hates Rogue One.
Yes.
And so that Mary messed him up. So I mean, I give all the praise to Parker, but there showed a little chink in the armor, and then Chance exposed it. And as a person, I love Parker. But
yeah, I think just experience won out on that day. And I mean, as much experience as you have in the fan leagues, they are slightly different. And Chance has been playing the movie trivia schmoedown, which and there's a level of mind games that you don't see in the fan league competitions.
Exactly.
All right,
exactly, Daniel.
Before we wrap it up, is one question we usually get for Norton Constellations, but you're here. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
If there was, an event, let's say aliens come to Earth, they erase all movies, but they would at least give you a week in advance notice. What would be your last 3 movies you would watch as a final goodbye?
Top Gun would be number 1.
Hey.
Oh, it's my favorite movie of all time. Only 1 movie, so it can't be a trilogy. No, it can't be 3. A series. So it's 3 movies, but it can't. 1 movie per. It can't be a trilogy, like a series or anything. Yeah. So Top Gun would be 1. Rocky 4 would be 2.
Love the choice. Rocky's my favorite movie of all time.
American Pie 2 would be my 3rd one.
Dude, that's my favorite of the series.
One of the best ones. American Pie, I have a special place in my heart, but American Pie 2 was more funny. And I just always loved that one. It's probably another comedy I'm forgetting, but it's that one.
Number 2 is my favorite, but Reunion, surprisingly enough, was the one that actually hit me more to my emotional core.
Huh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, and I like my favorite Fast and Furious is the 3rd one, so that just be. All right. So that being said, look, thank you everyone for watching on our first live episode. It warms my heart to see we have viewers, and hell, now it's confirmed we actually had someone following us every week and learning from us. That was our purpose all along.
Yeah,
hey man, Shug, thank you very much for being on. Obviously, a lot of people are here because of you, but yeah, you never know. If ever someone is not following you on Twitter, where can they find you?
They can follow me at SugeKnight323 at Twitter. And we also have the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmoedown podcast Twitter handle, so you can usually find me there. You'll usually see me around in SCN. I'm now using more of the podcast name other than my SugeKnight name, but it's usually me. You can always say, who is it? It's usually me.
Nice.
When you usually see anything to do with Schmoes on the North on any show paying some money, it's usually me too. So
yeah.
All right.
He's too lazy to get his own Twitter.
So Soda, if people can find you, I don't know why, but if people can find you.
Hey man, like I said, I'm like herpes. I'm everywhere. You can find me at that's an old joke from an old episode. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at soda_the_saxman. You can find me usually around on the Discords, not as active, but once in a while, some of our favorite content creators. And you can find me hosting Get Sweaty over at the Media Sweaty Network, where we break down the week in movie news, the week in sports, our favorite moments from the content creators of the week, and then we do usually our top 5, what have you. And coming up on this next episode, I chose the topic, top 5 albums of all time, personal favorites, and with one song from each recommended.
So when do I get invited to that show? That's the show I want to be on. I love Schmoedown, don't get me wrong, but I love talking other stuff.
Well, I will make sure to keep you in mind. This is only our third episode, so we're still relatively new. We haven't had any guests on, but I will definitely bookmark you for a future episode.
Congrats.
Yeah,
I hope
because I'm doing it with Ben. You familiar with Ben Rayner?
Oh yeah, I definitely know who Ben Rayner is. Yeah,
he's one of my co-hosts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
That's perfectly cool.
All right, Dan, and we're last but not least, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm around mostly on our Facebook page, Schmoes of the North, a schmoedown fan page. You can also find me on Twitter, commenting on most of our stuff and random schmoedown related content under the name Avengers _SOTN, Schmoes of the North.
All right, and look, you can find me usually on Norton Schmoes on Twitter. And by the way, you know, if ever you're watching this and you're not subscribed, what you doing? Click that button, subscribe. Don't miss anything we do. That being said, again, thank you very much for being on today's show, Shug. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Soda, for as usual giving me the support and bringing your A game to our show. All right. And thank you, Dave, for watching far away and not being on the show. All right.
All right. Good luck on whatever he's doing tonight.
Yeah. Hopefully it all goes well.
Well, that's what she said. All right. Good night. Bye.